Hey, math friends. So our learning target today is I can solve equations using the distributive property. So for our steps to solve equations today, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to stop, chop, chop. And you know that you can also tug of war the numbers. There are other options to stop, chop, chop. So what we're going to do in the distributive property, as you know, is we're going to multiply the number on the outside of the parentheses to each number on the inside of the parentheses. So essentially, we're going to kind of kill that parenthesis. For lack of a better term, we'll call it kill the parenthesis. We will combine like terms, if any. So if we have any variable parts that are the same, we can combine like terms. And then we will essentially solve, okay? So that's called inverse operations to solve the equation. So that's the idea of build house, build fence, clean yard, or the hand method, or whichever method you have. And then finally, we should check your solution to make sure that it makes sense. So those are our steps in our work today. The first three steps, 1, 2, and 3, as you can see on the screen, were already typed there for you. Those are things that you're pretty familiar with. So the problems are just kind of getting bigger and bigger as we go. All right. So you can see that this is an equation. What makes it an equation is you have two expressions that are equal to each other. So when you see that equal sign, you know that you have an equation. And our job is to find balance and figure out the value of x. So you can see that you have a parenthesis in there. So we're going to need to use the distributive property, recognizing that there's a 1 on the outside of this parenthesis. So distribute, we multiply the number on the outside to each term on the inside. So we'd have 3 times 1 is 3. Reattach the variable x. The sign in the middle is add. And 3 times 6 is 18. So that's the distributive property. And the right-hand side, if I haven't used it, drag it down, drag it down. Okay, so now we're just simply going to build a house, build a fence, clean a yard, clean a yard. So what I'm left with here is we want to clean the yard. We're going to subtract 18, copy, paste, copy, paste. If I haven't used it, drag it down, drag it down. And the right-hand side, if we tug of war this, we have 6 players on team positive, 18 players on team negative. The result of that is negative with 12 extra players. So we're not done yet because we don't know the value of x because x hasn't been isolated. So we're recognizing here that the operation is multiplication. We're going to solve for the value of x. So we're going to divide by 3, copy, paste, copy, paste. We know 3 divided by 3 is 1, so we get x equals, and this is a triangle problem here of negative 4 because we have a positive 3 and we have a negative 12, which results in a negative, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. So now the question is that the solution? So I'm going to go back up here and erase all of my work, and you can pause the video at any time. If you want to keep my work on the screen so you can analyze it, make sure you do that. So let's substitute back in and see how we do. So that's 3 times the quantity of negative 4 plus 6. The question is, does that equal 6? Well, inside here, if we tug of war that, we end up with positive 2. So we have 3 times positive 2. Does that equal 6? Does 6 equal 6? Yes. So we know that negative 4 is the solution to x. Again, at any point, go ahead and pause that video. Okay, so I'm going to erase just so that we can clean up the page a little bit so it doesn't look so messy. But again, you can work at your own speed. Next problem, we're going to build our fence. We need the left side to equal the right side. So you have two options on this problem. You can either use the distributive property, multiply the number on the outside into the number on the inside, or you can combine like terms right here on the inside right away. I'm not going to do that just in case just so you can see it doesn't matter if you miss that right away, you can still distribute. So I'm going to practice distributing. 10, reattach the x. Operation is subtraction. 2 times 1 is 2. Reattach the x. And that equals 3. So if I build myself a variable box, the x box, we have 10 x's minus 2 x's, which result in 8 x's. So we have 8x equals 3. So our job is to figure out the value of x. So to do that, I'm going to do the inverse operation, or the opposite of multiply is to divide. So we get x equals 3/8, or x equals 0.375. So we can substitute back in and check our work to make sure that that's correct. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to substitute back in for the x in both spots. So we end up with 2 multiplied by 5 times 0.375. Yikes, I should be using a parenthesis there. Minus 0.375. Does that equal 3? So I'm going to throw that in my calculator for the sake of it's kind of a mess on the screen. But 2 multiplied by 5 times 0.375 minus 0.375. I'm typing on what I have on the screen. Does that equal 3? I plugged it back in. So if I plug that back in for both those x's, we can see that this is the solution for x. 0.375 is the solution for x, or the fraction 3/8. Okay, group, hang in there. So this is the concept of distributive property into an equation. So combining some of the skills that we've been working on this school year. All right, we're going to do one more together, and then you're going to try 2 on your own. Okay, so we build house, build fence, clean yard, clean yard. So as we do that, we are going to distribute here. Now recognize there's a 1, so that's -2, reattach the x. Now I'm not going to chop this. I'm just going to multiply it through with those signs because that's another option, right? So negative times negative in a triangle. When we multiply, negative times negative is positive 6. Now that kills the parenthesis. And then if I haven't used it, drag it down, drag it down. So we have combine like terms as our next step. So we're going to go ahead and combine the x's. So let's check out these x's. So for my x terms, we end up with -8x plus 6 equals 78. So we're going to build house, build fence, clean yard, clean yard. So the operation would be subtraction. Okay, so I'm going to move this stuff down so I have a little more space to work here. So the operation is subtraction. Sorry guys, I'm having trouble with this stylist. So as I start to subtract this, we have 72. If I haven't used it, drag it down, drag it down. Multiplication is the operation here, so we're going to divide by -8, copy, paste, copy, paste. So we end up with -9 is the value for x. -9 is the value for x. So let's go back up to the original problem and make sure that that's true, that we agree with that. Do we agree that -9 is the value for x? So I'm going to erase all of this. And I'm going to substitute a -9 in anywhere I see an x and just confirm that that is the case. So we have 78 is equal to -2 times -9 minus 3 minus 6 times -9. So parentheses first, that would be -12. -2 times -12 minus 6 times -9. Let's just verify that we have 78 equal to 78. Sorry about this video. I'm having a hard time with pen on the screen here. So does the right side equal 78? Well, that's positive 24. And this is positive 54, negative times negative. So is it true that the left side equals the right side? Yes. So we knew that -9 is the solution to that equation. So for your work today, I'm going to have you finish up the rest of that page and get all of your work done through page 7. All your work done through page 7. Have a glorious night. Actually, I'm going to do these 2 more problems with you, the 2 on the bottom, just to give you some additional help. All right, so 2 more. Build house, build fence, clean yard, clean yard. Here we go, or hand method. So we distribute, we get 3x minus 3 plus 2x equals 14. So I killed the parenthesis there. If I combine like terms, I get 1x minus 3 equals 14. I'm moving at kind of a fast pace here, so go ahead and make sure you pause the video when needed. We're going to add 3, copy, paste, copy, paste. So we end up with 1x equals 17. So 1x equals 17. Substitute back in. You're on your own for the substitution back in because I want to keep the video kind of short. And last problem together, and then you're going to finish the next 2 pages on your own. Distributive property. So we get negative 5 equals negative 4x plus 20 plus 9x. Combine like terms. So when we go to combine like terms, we get negative 4x and 9x gives us positive 5x. Build house, build fence, clean yard, clean yard. We go subtract 20, copy, paste, copy, paste. If I haven't used it, drag it down, drag it down. So we divide by 5, copy, paste, copy, paste. So we get x equals negative 5. So the result is x equals negative 5. Substitute back in. So group, the rest of the work today is to finish page 6 and 7. Some of it will be remembering. That is the plan for today. If you need any additional help, reach out to me. I'm here for you. I can help you on anything. We can work out any errors that you're having. Have a glorious night.